As a writer, you're always self-critical of your work. But how far do you take it to make your personal statement look professional without going past the deadline? How do you know when it's time to stop second-guessing? Keep watching to learn more. Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Wesley and I'm a recent secondary school graduate and Cambridge Medic offer holder. As someone who's applied to UCAS in the past, I know all too well how one personal statement can go through several drafts and you never really know when to stop. So in today's video, I'll be talking about how to get your personal statement to the perfect stage without taking things too far. So if you've watched my personal statement video, then you know to start your first draft with just a list of your experiences and you can try to formulate a plan and a structure from there. After that, you just try to form rough sentences and then you keep refining your point to make sure that your passage is smooth and that you demonstrate your passion for the subject. Then the case with my own statement and with everyone else I've talked to is that once you get your personal statement to look like an actual writing, it's either too long or in the rare case too short. And usually if you find your essay too long, then you find yourself putting in too many experiences and making it read like a grocery list. So then you have to take your statement under the knife again. At this point, I'd ask you to focus more on the content than the length of the statement. Because you'll then realize that since you didn't watch my personal statement videos, your content and structure just doesn't feel right. So then your gut's telling you that everything's wonky and you start taking apart your statement piece by piece and then rebuilding it again like Lego. Only after that, it finally reads nicely and then you try to shorten things and work with the language a bit and then you find that it's all wonky again. So then you rewrite it and now you're in the loop. So again, for the focus of today's video, I'll try to keep things short and just tell you how you can stop yourself from staying in that loop. One way you can try to stay out of this is not to trust your gut when trying to determine if you have to make further amendments. You can trust yourself maybe up to like the second draft, but after that, try swapping statements with your friends and commenting on each other's statements. Back in the day, a couple friends and I just made a personal statement circle, so we're just swapping statements around. And when your friends say that some parts can be further refined, you can then decide whether or not to take their advice. Or maybe they'll think that it's good to go. Sometimes it takes really hearing it for your brain to take it in. And once you pass the peer review stage, you can then move on to professional review. So I'm definitely not saying that your friends have the final say in your statement, because we all know that friends can't be trusted. But jokes aside, you still hold the final choice on whether or not to make amendments to your statement or take it one step further. Once you're done with peer review, you can then take it to a teacher who's assigned to you, who's maybe experienced with your subject, or maybe just in UCAS in general. Or better yet, you can maybe take it to some seniors who are doing your desired subject and in your uni of choice. They have the first-hand experience and know what is actually up to standard. So don't be afraid to reach out to people if you don't already know someone. Typically, they'd be more than happy to help you out. Some social media pages or companies offer services for paid reviews. Some are cheaper and some are not, but neither are more qualified than the other. So it's really your own choice to decide if you need to employ some of these services, but just bear in mind that they don't guarantee anything and you won't be really disadvantaged compared to those who actually pay. At the end of the day, the personal statement is still a piece of English writing, and no matter your English proficiency level, you'll still make some mistakes, minor or not. Which is why proofreading is always important, but it's also always nice to have a fresh pair of skilled eyes to look at it for you. It's very likely that your school will have a centralized process for English teachers to check your personal statements, but if not, then I'm sure they won't reject you if you just go up to them and ask nicely. Plus, in this day and age with like AI and software, I'm sure it's pretty easy to just download like grammar checkers and stuff, but they're not always reliable. So like I always say, it's very important to still use common sense. Now after those few rounds of amendments, it's now good to take it up with the word processor, just to make sure that you're still under the character and line limit. So just put your latest draft in the UCAS processor, and in the unlikely event that you're over the character limit, you can then try to shorten or combine some of the sentences, and then do one final grammar check just to make sure nothing's really off. So what if you've done all that and you still find yourself stuck in the loop? Well, one thing I advise everyone when writing important things is to keep every single draft. I used to write scripts for my drama club, and I kept every single script draft so that I could compare them. Firstly, it's really satisfying to see how you went from something so rough to something so refined and presentable. And that's something to be proud of. But also you can pick up the latest draft and you can compare it with the last one and the one before that, and then you'll find that they're pretty much identical, or that the changes are really negligible. Then you'll know that the writing is ready. So that's the end of today's video, and I hope it really helps if you get stuck writing a personal statement. These tips helped me, and I'm telling you so that you wouldn't have to go through what I did. If you have any thoughts, ideas, or questions, then pop in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!